Hey, yo, hey, is Ghana all it's cracked up to be? That's what I want to talk about today. I have been here for about a little bit over a year and a half now, and there is a lot of conversation among people who are not local or native to Ghana about what's good, what's bad, and different, and everywhere in between. And today I was in conversation. I'm in a community that includes both local Ghanaians and diasporans. It's a business group and just talking about the different things in being in business here in Ghana, what do you need to do, etc. Right? But also in this group, we share information and ideas and have conversations around we have a dialogue about experiences that local Ghanaians may have versus diasporans. In any case, it came up in conversation today about an artist, and I'll link her video below, who is singing about how she came to Ghana and she never left, and all the things that she really enjoys about Ghana, with not very much conversation around what might not have went well, right? She talks about how her mother came and she loved it and just all these wonderful things, right? And so a Ghanaian in the group asks, hey, is this true? Is this how, diasporans or at least Black Americans feel about when they come to Ghana? And the response is widespread, right? Some people have extremely very good experiences. Some people have middle ground experiences. Some people have very poor experiences and decide to return. For myself, I have if I was going to rate my experience living in Ghana, it would be a 7 to 8 out of 10. Okay. I responded to her that I believe that when people have a lot of negative things to say or challenges, not just about Ghana, but any place that they move and go to live outside of their place of birth, that may be an indication that one, they are not flexible people, right? They are not people who do well with change. And two, they may need to work on their resilience, meaning how they adapt and respond to things that are outside of their comfort zone or their norm, right? And I explained that for myself, I did not come to Ghana with rose-colored glasses, okay? There's a lot of conversation of people who say, well, what was promised for people to come back to Ghana? People are saying things so that say, hey, given only the kind of good things, right? Come back home, it'll be this, it'll be that, right? I did not have any of those preconceived expectations, okay? I was very fortunate to come with eyes wide open. I did not have any expectations that I was going to live somewhere where the power was never going to go out. Unrealistic. The power goes out in Ghana. It doesn't matter where you live, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. Now, given the amount of money you have, you may have systems in place that you don't have to go without power, but the power gonna go out, okay? And sometimes there are water problems. Again, doesn't matter where you live, there's going to be water problems. You may have a certain amount of money that allows you to have systems in place to where it doesn't affect you, right? One of the major problems that I see about Black Americans, because those are the people who I interact with, is they come here with expectations that things should be done to the same standard as what they're used to from wherever they came from in the U.S. And the long and short of it is Ghana is still a developing country. It has a lot of the things that the West has in certain places, but overall, the country has a long way to go to put the systems in place to make things run smoothly, right? There's some areas where Ghana and West Africa is ahead, like in mobile software and mobile operating, they're far beyond the US. But some basic systems like roads, waste management, government systems that can interact and talk to each other, these are all things that they are still working on. So when you know this, you have to come with a certain amount of patience, right? You can't be in a hurry. And that's the number two thing. They want to do everything quick. Nothing is fast in Ghana, right? I know coming from the US, you're like, okay, I paid my money, this should happen. Nope, it does not work that way. There are several levels that you have to go through to get things completed. No transaction is just straightforward. And you're like, well, it should be. Well, why should it? What development, what evolution has occurred for it to be able to get to that point, right? So for me, I don't see the issues that people run into here in Ghana as worse than the US. I don't believe it's worse. I think it's just different. There are problems in the US getting things done, bureaucracy, red tape, all these sorts of things. Those things happen in the US. They happen here in Ghana too. How does it show up? It's just different, right? You go get a mortgage, got to go through the title company and all of this sort of stuff. There's red tape with that. Here, when you buy land, you got to go to the chieftaincy. You have to go through the land commission. If you're safe, you're going to get a lawyer to make sure it all checks out. Still things you have to do. One is not harder than the other, in my opinion. They're just different, right? I know in one of the groups I was in, somebody remarked, oh, well, where's the supermarket? We're in Ghana. They have local markets. Are there supermarkets? In some places, but most places it's the local market, right? And you have to learn how to navigate these spaces and places if you're going to be happy in the place. Now, even I have to say, I'm a little bit of ashamed of myself. I'm coming up on 2 years, and the amount of local language that I can speak is very small, very small. That's because I have not dedicated the time to learn the local language. Now, some people might say, well, which language are you going to learn in Ghana? It's true. There are a lot of regional languages. But wherever you live, that's the language you need to learn first. Where I live, they speak Fanti. If I go to Accra, they speak Twi or Ewe or Ga, but generally Twi pretty much, right? Even though English is the official language, if you are showing respect for the culture, the people, and the places that you go where you have decided to reside, you need to learn the language. When you learn the language, then these complaints about, oh, they got over on me, a lot of that can be reduced. You also garner a certain level of respect when you take the time to learn the local language, right? So I don't know if I want to say in conclusion, but to kind of wrap this all up, moving to Ghana, in my opinion, is not any different than a person moving to any other country. Some things are going to feel simpler. Some things are going to feel more difficult. It's not that one is way more than the other. It's just different. There's going to be challenges wherever you live when you are not local there, when you don't speak the language, when you don't understand the customs. There's going to be challenges. It's up to you to be quiet, observe, do your research, and not rush. And then you're less likely to have problems. Are you going to have problems? Absolutely. This is where I was talking about how resilience comes in. Resilience is your ability to encounter some challenges and navigate around or through them. And I feel like there's a lot of people who come from the West who don't have this skill. There's a lot of people who come from the West who have low emotional intelligence, right? This means their ability to not only understand their own emotions, but to understand, recognize, and interpret other people's emotions. These are skills that you need to cultivate and learn, not only where you live natively, but whenever you go to any other place. It makes your life so much easier, right? Don't rush, observe properly, or I shouldn't say properly, but learn to observe well enough to make an informed decision about what's really going on, instead of going on the fantasy or what you hope is going to happen. So for anyone who is moving outside of their home country, whether it be the US, the UK, Canada, I am targeting the West because these are places that I'm familiar with and know people from. And you're coming to West Africa, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, things are going to be different. Different does not mean that it is automatically more critical challenges than what you had left at home. It's just different, right? Let me know in the comments if you have ever lived outside of the US, particularly West Africa. What's your experience? Did you find that things were more difficult, less difficult, or just simply different? Until next time.